Hello everyone, welcome back to the Amazon FBA step-by-step course. I hope you're having a good day and you're pushing through your project with a lot of resilience. For anyone who wants to accomplish anything, we all need the resilience to push through. I hope you are enjoying this Amazon FBA step-by-step video series. From the very beginning, we learned together on how to select the first product, how to get the best quote, how to request samples, and how to issue the purchase orders, then how to inspect the product quality. Today, we're at the episode number 6 on how to arrange shipping. There are a lot of tips I want to share with you in this episode. Let's begin. If you're new to this channel, my name is Yuping Wang, founder of Sourcing Warrior Mastermind course and Negotiation Masterclass. I have been working in the sourcing field for over 20 years. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to share my experience with you. If you find the information I share in this channel is valuable to you, please do consider to subscribe or leave your questions or comments in the video description. My intention for this episode on how to arrange shipping is to demystify this mysteriously complicated process. As many of you are so scared and intimidated by shipping, I'm going to explain it in a way that is so simple and clear, so at the end of the episode you understand the whole entire process and perhaps you can explain the process to someone else who doesn't know. Okay, to move your product from point A to point B, there are only two options to make it simple. Option number 1 is to have your supplier 100% responsible to deliver your product to the specified address. It could be your home address. It could be your Amazon FBA warehouse address. It could be your friend's house address. It doesn't matter, as long as the supplier is 100% responsible, they just have to deliver the product to the address you specified. The option number 2 is you make the shipping arrangement to pick up the product and deliver to the address you desire. Which option is better? The money comes from your pocket. Either you pay the supplier to do the work for you, or you make the arrangement to pay a freight forwarder to make the shipping arrangement for you. Either way, you're paying for it. It all depends on the price you received per unit cost and the shipping cost you received to ship the product. So I'm going to give you tips on both options for you to be aware on either one of the ways to ship your product. If you choose the option number 1, to have your supplier 100% responsible for delivery, what do you need to be aware of to make sure you receive your shipment safe and sound? Well, I'll give you 3 tips. The tip number 1 is the shipment visibility. Get the tracking number for air shipment, or bill of lading, or container number for your ocean shipment. You need some sort of proof that the supplier has sent the shipment. What happens in reality a lot of times when the buyer asks the supplier to be 100% responsible for delivery, they are completely in the dark. They don't even know if the supplier has sent the shipment. They don't even know what tracking number is related to their shipment. So you need to ask your supplier to provide you with the air tracking number, or ocean shipment, you need the container number or bill of lading number, so that you know they actually indeed sent your shipment. That's the tip number 1. Tip number 2, be aware of DDP trap. What is DDP trap? Well, first, when you ask the supplier to be 100% responsible to deliver the product to your named address, what is this Incoterm called? DDP, deliver duty paid, all the way to your named address. What happens at the destination after your supplier ship the product from their country to your country? At the destination, what happens if the supplier don't have the importer record? They don't have a way to clear the destination custom. Therefore, a lot of times, many people will get a call from the freight forwarder, from the supplier side, to say you have to pay for the destination duty. If the total shipping you paid is $1,000 now, suddenly you have to come up with $200 or $300 depending on the invoice value, right? So this is not a true DDP anymore. There's a trap. Even though the supplier said they're responsible to deliver your product to your destination 100%, in reality, they couldn't do it. You have to pay additional money for that. That is a trap. How to avoid all these issues in terms of the shipping visibility, the shipment tracking number, or the unpaid duty portion? Well, how about the tip number 3? Use your own freight forwarder. Get a contact with a freight forwarder. Establish your relationship with this forwarder. Now this forwarder is your forwarder. You're contracting this forwarder to move your shipment. Ask this forwarder to give a quote to your supplier, so that you know exactly how much this DDP shipping cost is going to be. And this forwarder is going to provide you the tracking number and the visibility, sharing all these shipment status with you. Now you gain the visibility to your shipment. The option number 2 is you make the shipping arrangement to pick up your product and deliver to your desired address. Now, what you need to know and what you need to be aware of. First and foremost, you are not going to do anything. You're just going to come up with money to pay someone to do it for you. Who is this someone? This someone's name is called the freight forwarder. They are the agent, the service provider, the middleman between you and the actual shipper. Who is the actual shipper? It could be the trucking company. It could be the airline. It could be the steamliner, the ships. The freight forwarder are going to make arrangement with these shippers to move your product from point A to point B. Now, if you have someone who are professional to move your product from point A to point B, what do you need to know? Well, absolutely, you need to know minimum 5 things. If you know these 5 things, you can get a good relationship, a good quote from any freight forwarder because they think you are a pro. You're a pro businessman. The first thing you must know is the Incoterms, international commerce terms. The international commerce terms basically determine who's responsible for what. Let me slow down so you clearly understand how important for you to understand Incoterms. Incoterms determines who's responsible for what. If this shipment is lost, who's responsible for it? Is that your supplier or you? And Incoterms determine who's responsible for what shipping cost. If you cannot give your freight forwarder a clear definition on what Incoterms your shipment is going to be picked up or shipped, the freight forwarder won't be able to give you a shipping cost because they need to know whether it's your supplier paying for this portion or you are going to pay for this portion. That's how important it is. In the option number 1, we have the supplier 100% responsible for delivering the product, right? That Incoterm is called a DDP. There are total 13 Incoterms. You don't have to know it all. You just need to understand the concept. The 2 additional Incoterms you must understand is X work versus FOB. Under the X work Incoterm, the supplier's responsibility is ground zero. Comparing to DDP, they're 100% responsible to deliver your product to the destination. Under X work, they're not responsible to deliver their product at all. Their responsibility ends at their dock. Basically, after they produce your shipment, maybe it's 10 cartons, they just put it on the dock waiting for you to pick them up. Once these 10 cartons leave their dock, whatever happened to the carton, whether it's crashed or lost, is your problem because their responsibility ends at their factory. It's X work. Right? Another popular Incoterm you need to understand is FOB, free on board. How free it is. Free means the supplier is responsible to deliver their product from their dock to the shipyard where it's ready to load to the ship. That means this product has gone through export clearance. Now, if you don't think it's a big deal for you to understand the difference between X work and FOB, at least try to understand the cost implication, the profit margin application. A lot of times we see the beginners, they're getting the X work cost, which is cheaper than FOB cost. But the truth is they're going to pay a lot more for X work cost product because they don't know how much that little portion for the freight forwarder to pick up from the supplier factory to the shipyard and export this product, all the document fees, origin fees, to clear this product out of the origin country. So this portion of the cost could add up to $500, $1,000. This, if you're ordering 1,000 units, per unit cost, you're adding $1 on top of it. Versus if you're getting the quote for FOB, maybe it's 50 cents or 30 cents more. So be aware of the difference between X work and FOB. The less you order, the more it makes sense for you to use FOB Incoterms. I explained this in great detail in my mastermind course. A lot of people don't get this right, therefore they're eating margin without knowing it. After you know the Incoterms, the second piece of must-know information for you is the weight and dim, weight and dimension. Specifically, each specific carton's weight and dimension. This information is absolutely needed by your freight forwarder in order to give you a quote. Why you need to give your freight forwarder both the weight and dimension? Because if the product is very, very heavy, they will charge you by kg, kilograms. If the product is very bulky yet very light, they will charge you by volume weight. That's why you need to give your freight forwarder both the weight and dim in order for them to calculate the shipping cost. Now, the tip I want to give it to you is when you gather the weight and dim information, you need to get that from your supplier, right? They are actually doing the packaging for you, right? You need to remind them, I need as accurate as possible the weight and dimension, because a lot of times you will get one set of the weight and dim information. You get a quote already, you calculate how much margin you're gonna make after you pay for shipping. The actual weight and dimension are much different. Therefore, your freight forwarder giving you the actual bill is much different than what you initially calculated. This is causing a huge discrepancy between your expectation of your margin. Therefore, you need to make sure you do your due diligence. Remind your supplier, I need to get the weight and dim information to get a shipping cost quote, but this weight and dim information need to be as accurately as possible, as if you're ready to ship this product tomorrow. The third piece of must-know information is the HS code or HTS code, Harmonized System Code or Harmonized Tariff System Code. This code determines your duty. You need to provide the HTS code to your freight forwarder if you know it, in order for them to give you a quote to include the destination duty. Nowadays, the duty rate could range between 3%, 10% to 25%. This could impact your margin significantly, so the more homework you do upfront to know your HTS code, the more you know about the duty rate, the more you know about your margin. Where do you get the HTS code? Well, the first place you start is to get it from your supplier. Then you verify the HTS code with your freight forwarder. If you have a good contact with your freight forwarder, they will be able to verify under this code, this is the product description. Does it match the product you are asking this freight forwarder to pick up? This is how you get the HTS code and verify duty. The fourth piece of information that you must know and you need to provide to your freight forwarder is the pickup address and deliver address. In fact, you need to have as accurate address as possible in order to have an accurate quote. The freight forwarder need to know the pickup address detail in order to give you a quote, because the domestic trucking cost could vary differently when you say Shenzhen versus this specific town of Shenzhen. My tip to you on this one: get this address information as early as possible. How early? Before you cut the purchase order, because you need to know your total landed cost before you cut the purchase order. In order to calculate the landed cost, you need to know where your shipment is going to be picked up, right? Ask your supplier, please let me know where the shipment is going to be picked up so I can calculate how much is the shipping cost under this Incoterm. Do that as early as possible. You will have much better visibility to your margin and to your total shipping cost. The fifth piece of information you need to know, and you need to give it to your freight forwarder in order to get a good shipping quote, is ready date. When your shipment is going to be ready. Is that going to be next Monday or 40 days later? Time does affect shipping cost. Remember this. So I'm going to give you 2 tips on this. Number 1 is try to avoid making booking right before or right after any given holiday, because the bookings right before and after the holiday tend to be a lot more crowded. Therefore, the shipping costs tend to be much higher. So if you can wait for a week for the rate to come down, then wait for the rate to come down, or book it 2 weeks before the holiday, so you try to avoid this, congested, high-priced period. The second tip is, if you only want to calculate your profit margin, you don't really know when the product is going to be ready, just tell your freight forwarder that your shipment is going to be ready next week. You don't want to tell your freight forwarder, I haven't even cut the purchase order yet, and then they lose interest to give you the quote. Just tell them that my shipment is going to be ready next week. Here's the weight and dim information. Here's the Incoterm, and here is the ready date. When the shipment is actually ready, you made the inspection arrangement assuming your inspection passed. Now you can tell your freight forwarder, my shipment is ready. I need a shipping quote ASAP. Now you might be thinking, I know all 5 pieces of information. I know the Incoterms, I know the weight and dim, I know the HTS code, I know the pickup address and delivery address, and I know my shipment ready date. Who do I give this information to get the best quote? Do you recommend a good freight forwarder? Yes, I do. In the Sourcing Warriors Facebook group, I recommended a freight forwarder has been proven, has been tested by many group members in the elite Facebook group. I specifically recommend her to our elite students. She has helped many people move their FBA shipments. You can get her information in Sourcing Warriors Facebook group. Just click the link below, click on join, you will get that information. Now, if you want to take your shipping to another level, because as you grow your business, you may end up having several suppliers in different places, in different cities. How can you save money and ship all your products together? I teach all of that in Sourcing Warriors Mastermind course. If you do want to join the Mastermind course, the link is below. I look forward to teaching you more on how to save money consolidating shipping from different suppliers. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Number 6, if you did learn something, be sure to like the video and leave a comment. I look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you soon.